Live from downtown Spokane, this is 4 News Now at 11.
We are on the air tonight with breaking news that we've been covering since early this afternoon, a devastating day in Coeur d'Alene.
This was a total ambush. These firefighters did not have a chance.
2 firefighters are dead. Another is at the hospital, victims of a gunman who used a fire to lure them in. A heartbreaking day and a terrifying one in Coeur d'Alene and throughout our community. Thanks for being with us all afternoon and through the evening. I'm Jordan Smith.
And I'm Kirsten O'Connor. What started with a fire on Canfield Mountain quickly turned into a life or death scenario. A gunman who investigators say started that fire on purpose, then opened fire on the men who came to put it out. First, you should know tonight, the sheriff says the gunman is dead, found in the woods with a gun nearby. And the sheriff also says the threat to the community is over. This all happened in the popular hiking and recreation area north of I-90 in Coeur d'Alene. 40 minutes after that first call came in, firefighters called in and said they'd been shot. For the next several hours, it was a race against time to get them help and to stop the gunman.
2 firefighters were killed. The sheriff said they didn't stand a chance. Tonight, people lined the 36-mile drive from Coeur d'Alene down Interstate 90 to the medical examiner's office in Spokane. A solemn honor for 1 firefighter from Coeur d'Alene and 1 from Kootenai Fire and Rescue. A 3rd firefighter is still in the hospital tonight.
We've had team coverage all day today on TV and online to keep you informed as the situation evolved. We continue that team coverage live from the scene now. Mary Sheridan on the deaths of those firefighters. First, though, Hunter Bertram, who's been at the crime scene all afternoon. Hunter?
Yeah, Kirsten, we're standing just in front of Coeur d'Alene Fire Station 3 near Cherry Hill Dog Park, a very popular place that's just beneath Best Hill, which butts up right to the mountain where the shooting happened. And you can actually see here at Station 3, the flag in the distance waving out front is half-mast, showing the respect to the slain firefighters killed today. And as you said, it's been an ongoing situation. This is where the command post initially had happened, just behind this fire station. Over 300 law enforcement personnel from everywhere across the state, also Montana and Washington, including the FBI, Homeland Security, many individuals here assisting in the efforts to take out the gunman. And an interesting thing that was said earlier, Kootenai County Sheriff Bob Norris had said earlier in a press conference that these fires were believed to be set intentional to draw these firefighters in. Have a listen.
We do believe that the suspect started the fire, and we do believe that it was an ambush and it was intentional.
And you heard it right there, ambush, intentional, drawing in these firefighters and then ultimately opening fire on them. We were told earlier, too, that they were able to decipher a weapon earlier, just depending on the gunshots that were being fired at firefighters. Also, law enforcement saying it was a modern sportsman rifle that was being shot at them, also from multiple areas on the mountain, and not from a cabin or a home or anything like that. They say it was from dense brush piles, areas on the mountain that might be hard to see, was where the gunfire was being sprayed from the shooter.
All right, Hunter, thank you for that. And this was the scene tonight down Interstate 90. First responders from throughout the region in a powerful and somber procession from the hospital in Coeur d'Alene to the medical examiner's office in Spokane. That's where their autopsies will be conducted. The community wasted no time honoring these heroes with a powerful show of support. People lined the overpasses, some waving flags, others stopping to salute.
And we know that this is just the beginning of how our community will rally for these fallen heroes. Mary Sheridan was there when that procession began. She watched it just outside of Kootenai Health. Mary, a powerful moment on a really tough day.
Kirsten, that's right. And the mood outside of Kootenai Health shifted from urgent to somber during this afternoon's processional. I want to take you to that procession, I'm going to show you footage from earlier this afternoon. Law enforcement vehicles lined the streets surrounding the medical center. Fire trucks and sheriff's cars waited patiently to accompany the bodies of the 2 firefighters who were shot and killed today. Their bodies were sent to Spokane for an autopsy. Some community members chose to join them, standing along the road, waving flags to pay their respects to the fallen firefighters.
Just came out to show support and honor the people that lost their lives just trying to do the job that they do every day.
Others who paid their respects today told me that their hearts ache for those affected. And heartache was also something that was touched on in today's press conference today here in Coeur d'Alene, and just the impact that this ambush is having on local law enforcement. It was also confirmed today that 3 firefighters were shot. 2 of them were killed, and the 3rd one is recovering from surgery here in Kootenai Health. Reporting live in Coeur d'Alene, Mary Sheridan, 4 News Now.
Thank you, Mary, for walking us through that and for being there through the day. Of course, that procession ended just a few miles from where we're sitting. And Jordan, you were actually there at the scene.
Yeah, I was up on the Arthur Street overpass waiting for this procession to come into town. And just as Mary was talking about, such an emotional journey and so many emotional sights and sounds once they got into town here. And I think we've got the video we could play here. And you can see as they're coming in here, that's on 2nd Avenue, just a line of first responders, police greeting them, saluting as they're coming into town here, and just a wall of ambulance, fire trucks, police, all in solidarity for these fallen firefighters. And that ended at the Spokane Medical Examiner's office, surrounded by more than 100 first responders from agencies all over the region, giving one final salute to the family as they drove away. And just being in that moment, you could just, I mean, it was a gut punch to see that, but it was just the remarkable solidarity that these first responders showed in this awful, awful situation that's transpired here today.
Absolutely. What a unison moment for so many families in our community and across the country who are watching this unfold. It became national headlines very quickly, and I think that the first responder community came out in support tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Standing arm in arm and together, and just a lot to try to process for everybody, much less those first responders and, of course, those families there tonight. So,
well, Sheriff Norris did say that the fire on Canfield Mountain is contained tonight. Once they did remove the body of the suspected gunman, they were able to work quickly to get that under control. The sheriff said they likely will find more evidence of the crime when they go back to the scene tomorrow, and that this is still an active crime scene. Smoke from the wildfire could be seen throughout the region today. This is a crime scene, so much of that is going to be closed tomorrow and possibly into the week. We know that we're giving you a lot of information tonight. There's still a lot to get through. It's important to also remember that this is the beginning of a grieving process for our community. Our condolences are with the fire departments and their families and everyone touched by this unthinkable tragedy. Let's recap that key information for you right now. 2 firefighters were killed in today's shooting, one of them from the city of Coeur d'Alene, the other from Kootenai Fire and Rescue. Investigators now believe there was just one gunman and that he is dead. His body taken from the scene as the wildfire burned on Canfield Mountain. That wildfire is under control tonight. Investigators believe the gunman set it to lure firefighters in. And finally, even though he is dead, the investigation into what happened is just beginning tonight.
And our coverage of this story is far from over as well. While you're sleeping here tonight, our Good Morning Northwest team will be tracking down breaking updates, and you can watch live coverage on Good Morning Northwest starting at 5 a.m. tomorrow. And support for the community has been pouring in from all over, even as the scene was active today.
Yeah, Sheriff Norris said they received word from the White House as things were unfolding. Idaho Governor Brad Little posting on X this afternoon saying, quote, multiple heroic firefighters were attacked today while responding to a fire in North Idaho. This is a heinous direct assault on our brave firefighters. I ask all Idahoans to pray for them and their families as we wait to learn more. We're curating those responses and adding them to our complete coverage as it comes in. You can find that right now on KXLY.com. And our complete coverage will continue after this short break.
Download the KXLY Plus app on your connected TV.
Beat the heat. Always water before 10 a.m. or after 6 p.m.
After a car wreck, the longer you wait, the harder it can be to get what you deserve. Don't let big insurance get ahead of you.
Our team acts quickly to handle everything for you.
After my recent accident, I knew I needed help, so I called Craig Swap and Associates. They really fought for me and treated me fairly every step of the way.
Don't wait. Call Craig Swap and Associates today and let us handle it for you. One call, that's all.
509-999-9999.
At Fred Meyer, you never compromise. You get up high quality like bread baked in store and down low prices everywhere you turn. Up high quality that's guaranteed fresh and down low prices on over 1,000 items. With quality and savings that keep adding up, hand it to Fred Meyer shoppers. You never compromise. Fred Meyer. Fresh for everyone.
Wherever the road takes you, Chevy is ready to drive you forward. With pure power unleashed and future-forward technology. Because every mile matters, and every path leads to new possibilities.
Get the freedom to save. Current qualified lessees can get this 2025 Equinox all-wheel drive for around $299 a month.
See your hometown Chevy dealer today.
Life happens. Lucky for you, ICCU has a new kind of checking account that comes with benefits, including 24/7 telehealth.
Wait, through my ICCU checking account?
On it.
Along with a whole lot of other benefits you might need. Because being human is a full-time job.
Summer means the great outdoors, but it's also wildfire season. How are you going to cope with smoke from wildfires? 1, when it's smoky, check current air quality. 2, limit or avoid time outdoors. And 3, keep indoor air as clean as possible. Replace home air filters as often as needed and use the best filter for your system. Set the air conditioner to the recirculate mode. If necessary, find a cleaner air shelter near you. For the latest information about wildfires and smoke, visit the Washington Smoke blog, wasmoke.blogspot.com.
4 News Now is brought to you by BECU and the Scalehouse Market.
We are back now with that continuing coverage. The ambush that happened earlier today in Coeur d'Alene that left 2 dead and 1 firefighter fighting for his life in the hospital.
Our Hunter Bertram has been at the scene all day. We'll send things back out to him here tonight in Coeur d'Alene. Hunter?
Yeah, Jordan, Kirsten, as we mentioned earlier in the broadcast, this is just the beginning of a long grieving process for this community, and I want you to take a look here at Station 3 Coeur d'Alene Fire. This is just beneath Canfield Mountain where the shooting took place. 2 fire apparatuses, 2 fire trucks have just returned to the station, and you just can't imagine what's going through all of these brave men and women who serve us every single day, day in, day out, coming back knowing one of their colleagues has few of their colleagues, have unfortunately been victims of what was described as a heinous crime. And also in this area, earlier today, there was over 300 law enforcement individuals that were here on scene. And a big part of the scene that we had reported earlier is that there was an active wildfire just behind this fire station over on Canfield Mountain. There's Best Hill, and then right behind it, Canfield Mountain. And that wildfire, said to be 20 or some acres right now, they're working on containment since they were unable to get any resources up on to the mountain to help fight that wildfire. There was a lot of smoke blanketing the area. Now, latest update, they have started to get a hand on it, but right now you can see just a very somber energy surrounding Fire Station 3 Coeur d'Alene Fire, and these fire individuals now returning back to the station. Live in Coeur d'Alene, Hunter Bertram, 4 News Now.
Hunter, thank you for that, and absolutely just a somber scene out there. I mean, as we were covering this all afternoon, I mean, 300 law enforcement personnel going to this. I mean, this is that's a sight we haven't seen for many incidents, probably ever. At least that we were talking in recent memory.
And that procession was unbelievably. And the only silver lining we had is that fire. They were unable to attend to it. We had light winds all day, which didn't add to that fire. Let's take a quick look at what we can expect for the next couple of days. We do have a heat advisory that starts tomorrow morning, and that's going to last until Tuesday at 9 o'clock. So what does that mean? We're going to be seeing highs right in the mid-90s for the next couple of days, so the heat will be on. Now, current temperatures, 65 right now in Coeur d'Alene, 72 in Spokane. Starting to cool down pretty darn nicely into our evening hours. But folks, as we get into this week and the following week, we do expect to be well above our average, like we were today. We were around 80 yesterday. We were in the upper 80s today. So clear skies out there. We expect clear skies for the next couple of days. So just like today, we're going to see unfettered sunshine throughout our areas. And I was saying earlier, it was very fortunate we had light winds throughout our areas, and that's going to continue into tomorrow and into at least Tuesday. So here are the numbers. 93 tomorrow for the Spokane area, plenty of sunshine. 96 Tuesday, that looks to be the hottest day of the week. Then we'll cool down just a little bit and get to the mid-80s as we head into our Thursday and our 4th of July on Friday. So a lot going on this week. We're going to see the hot stuff really early on, then kind of level out to the mid-80s, but that will be still about 10 degrees above our average for this time of year. So good news there, but do get ready for very hot conditions tomorrow. Take care if you can. Heat advisory starts tomorrow at 9 a.m.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
Made in America flooring. It's all on sale. Built to last, tariff-free, and marked way down for the 4th of July. Plus, 0% financing, big box prices, and small town service. Only at your local floor trader.
Summer's heating up, but your home doesn't have to. During Mainstream's No Sweat Summer Sales event, it's easier than ever to upgrade your comfort with the best financing offer of the year. For a limited time, enjoy 6 months, no payments, no interest on new AC systems. Stay cool, save big, worry less. Call Mainstream today or visit mainstreamhomeservices.com to take advantage of this amazing offer. Cooler air is just a click or call away. Don't sweat it. Mainstream has you covered.
It's AutoNation's celebration across the nation, bringing great savings to all at AutoNation Toyota. Drive a new 2025 Toyota Corolla Cross for only $325 a month. Go to AutoNation Toyota.
Do you keep up with the trends or set your own?
Is the color dense enough?
Add more pigment. Launch on social. We've got to take this global.
All right, so where do we go from here?
You've got to test it, perfect it, expand it. Never rest until it's right.
Introducing the business card that gives back all you put in. The new Chase Sapphire Reserve for Business.
At Shriners Children's, we're home to the world's leading pediatric orthopedic care. Because so many life-changing advancements start here. We provide access to the best doctors and never allow your ability to pay for services to compromise the care your child needs. We're the first place to turn for the most common or complex orthopedic conditions. Home to possibility and empowering kids to achieve the extraordinary. Shriners Children's, the most amazing care anywhere.
I'm Chad Young from theeasyhomebuyer.com, Spokane and Coeur d'Alene's easiest way to sell your house fast. If you have a few moments, I hope you'll give me the opportunity to make you an instant cash offer on your home. With theeasyhomebuyer.com, we will buy your house in as-is condition with no repairs, no closing costs, and no commissions. To get your no-obligation cash offer, give us a call or visit us online at theeasyhomebuyer.com.
Pick up the phone to inquire. Call the Easy Home Buyer.
The Gilmore Girls are now on Start TV. It's the beloved series that mixes comedy, drama, and fun. Yes! The Gilmore Girls, weeknights at 5. Watch Start TV over the air on KXLY Channel 4.4.
Made in America flooring. It's all on sale. Built to last, tariff-free, and marked way down for the 4th of July. Plus, 0% financing, big box prices, and small town service. Only at your local floor trader.
4 News Now.
is brought to you by Northern Quest Resort and Casino.
Welcome back to our continuing coverage of that breaking news in Coeur d'Alene. We want to emphasize one more time that we did hear from the Kootenai County Sheriff, who said that the threat near Canfield Mountain is now over. They do believe that they have neutralized the one active shooter that was there earlier this afternoon. This is a very popular hiking and mountain biking destination, a place where families go to see sunsets, a place that so many of our community members know and love. And it is just really difficult and tragic to see something like this unfold for several hours throughout the day.
Yeah, and we heard from Hunter Bertram earlier in there. I mean, 300 law enforcement personnel called to the scene to try to navigate this situation. Fairly unprecedented situation as well. But you mentioned families up there hiking around, had to be evacuated from that mountain as the situation unfolded here. And that did evolve into a procession that went from Coeur d'Alene all the way to Spokane. Mary Sheridan was there when that procession began, just outside of Kootenai Health. She's still live for us here tonight. Checking back in with Mary now.
Right, Jordan. And behind me in Kootenai Health, one firefighter is still recovering, but the emotional toll of today is still to be determined. Sheriff Bob Norris mentioned in tonight's most recent press conference that many local law enforcement haven't even had the chance to fully process what the effects of today's ambush are going to look like. And earlier today, local law enforcement vehicles gathered outside of Kootenai Health to pay tribute to those who were fallen in a processional, again starting from Kootenai Health and driving down I-90. Take a look, we've got some footage for you. The bodies of the fallen firefighters were taken to Spokane for autopsies. People lined the highway overpasses as the procession arrived in town en route to the Spokane Medical Examiner's office. This tragic event will not be forgotten in this community anytime soon.
This is not who we are as a community. And I want everyone to know that this is a wonderful place to live, to raise your family, and visit.
And several people lined the streets out here by Kootenai Health, waving flags, paying tribute to those in uniform and specifically to those fallen. And this is just a tragic event that is going to be remembered in this community. I mentioned earlier today, I saw people stopping at this intersection behind me, asking what was going on, had they heard anything. This is something that's concerning people, and that's why we're trying to bring you the latest and most up-to-date information on this tragic event that's making national headlines.
Well, Mary, as we were talking throughout the day here, I mean, you had a front row seat to the community aspect of this. I mean, we watched first responders as they were embracing at the hospital earlier today, really before we knew a whole lot of information, and of course watching the community come together. I mean, that's just a very, I would say that it's a very fundamental part of a community like Coeur d'Alene.
Absolutely, yes. I was able to speak with one woman whose husband is a patient in Kootenai Health right now, unrelated, and she was able to kind of give me a glimpse inside just by what she could tell me. She said that people were moving and responding, and as you mentioned, it was an emotional scene in there, firefighters hugging each other, likely trying to just make any kind of sense about what happened today.
And Mary, Kootenai Health was where these firefighters were taken, and obviously we saw in that processional so many ambulances, fire engines, and law enforcement vehicles that were lined up before that processional started. But you also spoke with members of the other hospitals in the Inland Northwest who were preparing in case this was a much more devastating situation with many more victims, because at one point we did not know if there were more victims on Canfield Mountain.
Yes, this event was just it was ready to be supported by multiple communities outside of Coeur d'Alene. I did speak with several medical centers in Spokane. They said that they were alerted and prepped and ready for whatever came their way. I was able to get in touch more recently with Sacred Heart, the Providence Hospital in Spokane. They said they did not receive any victims, like you mentioned, because there were only the 3, but they were ready to respond in case things took a turn for the worse.
All right, Mary Sheridan live for us all afternoon and evening. We appreciate you, Mary, and we will be right back with more updates for you after a short break.
Live stream KXLY Plus on the 4 News Now app.
4 News Now is brought to you by Jacobs Custom Living.
We're halfway through 2025. Is it time for a debt checkup?
Midpoint of the year is a good time to reevaluate your goals.
This Money Saving Monday, Kirsten O'Connor shows us 4 smart financial moves that could save you thousands. Tomorrow on Good Morning Northwest.
You know, Donnie, when people hire the advocates, they don't just get me and you. They get a whole team of attorneys and paralegals ready to jump in and fight.
Gathering evidence, shutting down aggressive insurance adjusters.
Do what it takes.
Right. Hey, Ken. I'm ordering lunch. What do you want?
What are you getting?
A sandwich and potato soup.
There, you said it. Potato.
Ken, I'm joking. Nobody says it that way.
Injured? You deserve an advocate.
Advocate.
Some drive an Audi for the performance, others for the innovation. At Audi Spokane, you can drive one today. Celebrate July 4th in comfort and style by driving home your favorite new luxury vehicle. Take advantage of a new 2025 Audi Q3 Premium Plus Quattro for only $499 a month. Going on right now at Audi Spokane, an AutoNation company.
What's for lunch this summer? For kids who rely on school meal programs, the answer is not enough. Donate to the What's for Lunch food drive at Yokes locations throughout June to make sure all our kids get enough to eat this summer.
Since 1983, Nissan has been assembling award-winning vehicles for you, right here in America. And we're committed to keeping our lineup affordable and free from new tariffs. That's why we've lowered MSRP on our best-selling Rogue and Pathfinder. So you can get the car you want, at the price you want, knowing Nissan is here for you at the Nissan Summer Sales Event.
Now get 0% APR financing for 60 months on the 2025 Nissan Rogue or Pathfinder.
Welcome to What's Next. For your community, for your career, and for the healthcare field. At Carrington College, we're training the next generation of allied healthcare professionals, bringing you the hands-on training to be ready for a career in healthcare. We're building on a proven legacy of career training, going back over half a century. So if you're ready to train for your career and make a difference in your community, we're ready for you.
We are back with you on that breaking news of the ambush that happened earlier today in Coeur d'Alene that left 2 dead and 1 fighting for his life in the hospital. Of course, this is the end of our newscast tonight, but we will be back on with Good Morning Northwest at 5 a.m.
Yeah, and we've had teams there in Coeur d'Alene all afternoon through the evening. Hunter Bertram, one of them out there. We'll send things back out to him for one final live shot there. Hunter, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Jordan, Kirsten, it's been an ordeal here in Coeur d'Alene this afternoon. A very emotional, tolling day for everyone in this area, for firefighters, law enforcement, those that are neighbors of this area. And this scene right now, very quiet, very somber, following the devastating events today. But this was not what this area looked like earlier. Station 3 Coeur d'Alene Fire was bustling with hundreds of law enforcement. As we said, more than 300 law enforcement, not including fire individuals also here on scene helping, and also at Kootenai Health, so many people staged there ready to take in patients and EMS, and it just really speaks to the dire situation that we saw unfold on the mountain. I want you to take a look at the footage earlier that we were able to get here at the command post, where they were trying to come up with a strategy on how to neutralize the shooter at that moment, as the threat was still lingering, still very severe, as we didn't know if there were people on the mountain still, how many people had been shot at that point, or how many shooters there were. A lot of those answers fortunately answered tonight during that press conference at 9:30, in a moment that really felt emotional for many people, I assume, watching at home, was when the details were coming out about the individuals who were shot here on the mountain, and one of them fighting for his life tonight here at Kootenai Health.
He is fighting for his life, but he's in stable condition.
stable condition. Fortunately, that firefighter, fighting for his life, but in stable condition. That is amazing news to hear for many in this community after this tragic day. And just to bring you back to the scene earlier this morning, this all began 121. A half-acre brush fire was on Canfield Mountain. They went up there, and then shortly, 30 minutes later, that's when they were shot at by the shooter with a modern-day sports rifle, is what they have told us so far. Kirsten, Jordan.
Well, and Hunter, I think that's, the search for answers here tonight was such a long journey to get to this point. But starting with those firefighters, I mean, when they're responding to a brush fire, that's on no one's mind. Their major concern is we're in the thick of wildfire season, preventing those flames from going, and then all of a sudden, we do learn sniper rounds are being fired off, and then police are getting involved, and this has been. I don't even have the correct words to kind of describe the situation.
It was described as heinous and gut-wrenching from so many of the people who are Idahoans at heart, and also not what we see in this community, Hunter. I think that was something that the sheriff made very clear.
Yeah, right, Kirsten. And I mean, during the press conference, when you listened to the individual representing Coeur d'Alene Fire at that moment, they said our firefighters shouldn't have to train for this. This isn't Coeur d'Alene. This isn't what this area does. They said this isn't something you can train for. And unfortunately, walking into that fire on Canfield Mountain, Kootenai Sheriff Bob Norris said they didn't stand a chance. They didn't have a chance. It was an ambush, and they didn't stand a chance. But like you said, this isn't something that you would see in this area, and Bob Norris also emphasized possibly seeing something like this as an urban area, but Coeur d'Alene by far shot is considered an urban area, especially at a popular hiking area, which is really devastating. And also another point just to point out about this search, they were able to locate that man's body on the hill that they believe is the shooter through a cell phone ping. They were tracking a phone, and then they honed in on a phone on the mountain, and that's when they ultimately found the suspect's body that they say was the lone shooter. Kirsten, Derek.
All right, Hunter, thank you so much for your live coverage. We appreciate you.
Yeah, still a lot more questions unanswered here, and as Sheriff Norris did say, they'll have teams out there tomorrow after that fire is a little bit more under control, and of course we'll give you more information as we learn it. But here's a recap of everything we know so far.
Now, 2 firefighters killed in this shooting, one from the city of Coeur d'Alene, the other from Kootenai Fire and Rescue. And investigators do believe just one gunman, as you heard Hunter say, and that one gunman is dead. His body was taken from the scene as the wildfire was burning. That wildfire on Canfield Mountain is under control tonight. Investigators believe the gunman set it to lure firefighters in. And finally, even though he's dead, the investigation is just starting.
And our coverage from this story, again, far from over. While you're sleeping here tonight, our Good Morning Northwest team will be tracking down the very latest updates. And you can watch that live coverage on Good Morning Northwest starting